Welcome back to the Ramayana for Children series. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, please check that out. Link will be in the description. Now let's see Sita's third choice. Her third choice. After a long journey over the sea, Sita found herself on the island of Lanka under an Ashoka tree in a garden at Ravana's place. The whole city was made of gold. The palace, also of gold, was guarded by female Rakshasas. "Why don't you want to marry our lord?" they asked angrily. "He's handsome, rich, smart, talented, powerful, feared, and clearly very fond of you. He has even offered to make you his queen. Yet you refuse? Why?" Very calmly Sita replied, "I was given in marriage to Ram. That is why I am his wife. I will always be his wife. There is no choice here. There are rules in place. Your king refuses to understand these rules because he is consumed by desire. If he truly cared for me, he would let me follow the rules I should follow as the wife of the Sun Prince and not keep me prisoner." The women of Lanka thought about what she said, and they agreed that Ravana was in fact trying to enforce his will on her. They asked Sita, "What will you do? Your husband is far away. You are in the middle of the forest on an island surrounded by sea which is full of monsters." Sita replied, "I will wait, for I have faith in my husband. One day he will come." While Sita waited, the women told her about how the Rakshasas had descended from Brahma. Brahma, the creator, had a son called Kashyapa who had many wives, and from whom were born the Devas, the Asuras, the humans, the birds, the fishes, the serpents, and the animals of the forest. He had another son called Pulatsya, from whose wives descended the Yakshas and the Rakshasas who live in the forest. Asuras are not the same as Rakshasas. Asuras are Kashyapa's children, while Rakshasas are Pulatsyas. Asuras live under the earth and they fight Devas who live above the sky. Rakshasas live in forest, follow the laws of the jungle, and fight humans who live in the civilized societies. I am Brahma, father of Pulatsya, who is the father of all the Rakshasas and Yakshas. I am Brahma, father of Kashyapa, who is the father of all animals and humans. Every living creature is my grandchild. Ram and Ravana, Sita and Surpanaka have all descended from me. Everyone is linked to the other through me. They told Sita about the birth of Ravana and his rivalry with his stepbrother Kubera. A rishi called Vaishrava married two women, a Yaksha and a Rakshasa. The Yaksha women gave birth to Kubera and the Rakshasa women gave birth to Ravana. Kubera was rich, successful, and talented. He built the golden city of Lanka on an island in the middle of the sea and invented the Pushpaka Vimana. Ravana became jealous of Kubera and after praying to the gods acquired many powers, using which he drove Kubera and his Yakshas away, made himself king of Lanka, and claimed the Pushpaka Vimana for himself. Now poor Kubera lives somewhere in the north in a city called Alaka. Sita was not impressed. "My Ram gives his kingdom away to his brother Bharata, and your Ravana drives Kubera away from his own kingdom?" Meanwhile, Ravana tried many tricks to make Sita come inside the palace and be his wife. He used sweet words and songs and told her how lovely she was and how much he missed her. He threatened to beat her and to eat her. He showered her with flowers and gifts, but Sita showed absolutely no interest in any of his tactics. She insisted, "Let me go back to my husband." But Ravana pretended not to hear her. I can choose to be afraid of Ravana, or I can choose to have faith in Ram. Months passed. The rains came and went. One night, when the Rakshasa women guarding Sita were asleep and snoring, something fell from the branches above, right in front of her. It was too shiny to be a fruit. She picked it up and found it was a ring, Ram's ring. She recognized it and looked up. There was a monkey sitting on the branches. The monkey jumped down and bowing to her said, "I am Hanuman, born by the grace of wind god Vayu. My mother is Anjani and my father is Kesari. I serve Sugriva, the king of Kishkinda, and on his orders I have come here as a messenger of your husband Ram." A monkey that talked. These were the famous Vanaras she had heard of, those who lived deep in the jungle in the south. After introducing himself, Hanuman gave Sita all the news about Ram. A few months ago, just before the rains, we saw two strangers in our forest walking towards the south, not eating, not sleeping, and looking behind every tree and rock. Near Lake Pamba, an old tribal woman called Shabari offered them berries to eat. She would take a bite and offer only the sweetest. Only Ram accepted this, not Lakshmana. In Valmiki's Ramayana, Shabari is caretaker of Matangi's ashrama, who is very hospitable. However, there is no reference to feeding tasted berries. The Odisha Ramayana by Balaram Das, written over 400 years ago, refers to a tribal women feeding tasted mangoes to Rama and Lakshmana. The berries are first referred to 300 years ago in Bhakti Rasa Bodhini, written in Hindi by Priyadas. Hanuman continued, "Being curious, I introduced myself. Then, realizing that they posed no threat, I took them to meet my king Sugriva." Ram told us that he was looking for his wife Sita, who had been abducted by Ravana and taken to the south. We knew of the abduction, for which we had seen Ravana flying south in his chariot, a wailing woman in his arms. We showed Ram the trail of jewellery you had left behind. Ram then asked Sugriva for help in finding you. Sugriva said he would, but only if Ram helped him overpower his brother Vali and established him as king of Kishkinda instead. The Ramayana describes various Vanaras as the son of Vedic gods. Hanuman is the wind god Vayu's son, Sugriva is sun god Vayu's son, and Vali is the rain god Indra's son. Vali and Sugriva were the twin sons of Riksha, former king of Kishkinda. Before dying, Riksha instructed the brothers to share rule of the kingdom. Unfortunately, Vali did not trust Sugriva and, following a minor misunderstanding, drove him out of Kishkinda. The only way to reclaim the kingdom was by killing Vali. Sugriva told Ram, "I will challenge my brother to a duel, and when we were fighting, you should shoot an arrow from behind the bushes and strike Vali dead." Ram agreed. He advised Sugriva to wear a garland around his neck to distinguish himself for the two of them looked very alike. So, garland around his neck, Sugriva challenged Vali to a duel, and while they were fighting, Ram's arrow struck and killed Vali, which made Sugriva the undisputed king of the Vanaras. Surya taught Hanuman the Vedas, which is why Surya was well versed in Sanskrit. As tuition fee, Surya asked Hanuman to protect Sugriva. Shooting Vali with an arrow from behind the bushes while he was engaged in fighting Sugriva, is that not cheating? Wondered Sita. Hanuman continued, "It was Sugriva's fight, not Ram's. Vali had used strength to drive Sugriva out. Sugriva could only use cunning to superpower his mighty brother. Ram was just his instrument. He was just following Sugriva's instruction. Besides, if Ram had attacked Vali from the front, then the Vanaras would deem him their king, not Sugriva." After becoming king, said Hanuman, Sugriva kept his end of the promise. "He asked me to travel south and search for you." This meant crossing many mountains and rivers and forests, and finally a great sea full of monsters. It was not easy, but here I am, ready to take you back to your husband. For I am no ordinary Vanara, I can leap across the ocean. So please jump on my back and I will return you to Ram. The Ramayana describes Hanuman's journey across the sea, during which he cunningly outwits the sea monster called Surasa and kills another sea monster called Sinhika, finally defeating Lankini, the goddess who caused Lanka. This part of the Ramayana, called Sundarakanda, is very popular among devotees. Sita replied, "Thank you, Hanuman, for offering to help, but I want my husband to cross the sea and come to Lanka, kill Ravana and rescue me himself, thus restoring the reputation of his family. For Ram is a prince, and royal reputation matters a lot to princes, especially to those who belongs to Sun dynasty." This was Sita's third choice. Strange are the ways of humans, thought Hanuman, but he respected Sita's choice. "Please give me something of yours that I can present to your husband so that he believes that I had actually found you," requested Hanuman. Sita gave Hanuman the only piece of jewellery she had left, her hairpin, known in Sanskrit as Chudamani. In the forest, Ram and Lakshmana wore clothes of bark as hermits are supposed to, but not Sita, who wore a lot of jewelry as princesses did in ancient times. Then Hanuman said, I have travelled so far and that has made me very hungry. Can I get something to eat? Sita replied, this garden is full of fruits. Eat whatever you like. Hanuman jumped from tree to tree, eating and enjoying himself. After he had his fill, he began to shake the branches and trees, wreaking havoc in the garden. The female Rakshasas of the garden woke up with a start and seeing the monkey ran out in a fright and called the gods. The gods came in and after a great fight managed to catch Hanuman. Or did he let them? They dragged him by his tail to Ravana. Ravana looked at him and quizzed, Who are you? Hanuman smiled and announced, I am Ram's messenger and I have flown across the sea to tell you that Ram is on his way to get his wife back. Now let me go. Is this the way to treat messengers in your kingdom? In many folk versions of Ramayana known as Ramakathas, Hanuman lengthens his tail and coils it around to make a throne on which he sits while talking to Ravana. His tail throne is taller than Ravana so that he can look down upon the Rakshasa king. Ravana was not amused. He decided to teach this mischievous monkey a lesson. Light his tail on fire, he ordered. Hanuman pretended to be afraid, but as soon as the gods set his tail on fire, he escaped the clutches and laughing all the while began jumping from roof to roof, house to house, burning the palace and the city with his tail. The only spot that Hanuman did not burn was the Ashoka garden where Sita was seated. As Lanka burnt, Hanuman leapt across the sea and returned to the forest where he found Ram and Sugriva. He told them of Sita's whereabouts and gave her hairpin to Ram as proof of his discovery. He also told them of Sita's choice that she would wait in Lanka till Ram went to her rescue. Let's go then, said Ram. With Sugriva's help, he raised an army of monkeys and bears, and this great army of animals made its way to south. On reaching the southern shores, Ram raised his bow and threatened to hurt Varuna, the sea god, if he did not part his waters and let his army pass. Varuna appeared before Ram and said, If I do that, then many fishes will die. It would be better if you build a bridge across the sea. The fish will keep the stones afloat. Then let's do it, said Ram. Directed by Hanuman, the monkeys scoured the land for rocks. They threw the rocks into the sea. The fishes held up the stones. Together they were doing something that no one had ever done before, building a bridge to Lanka. In Valmiki's Ramayana, the bridge is built under the supervision of a monkey called Nala, son of the Vedic god of architects Vishwakarma. Tulsidas says that it was created by two monkey brothers Nala and Nila. But in stories that have been told in the last 200 years, Hanuman plays a key role in building the bridge, writing Ram's name on the stones to ensure that they float and don't sink. Hope you enjoyed the story. So this was Sita's third choice. Stay tuned for her fourth. Until then, bye.